So earlier today, convicted felon Donald Trump had a rally in Las Vegas, Nevada. He made a stop in the swing state. I guess he's trying to win their votes, even though he doesn't have any policy that's going to make anybody's life better. But MAGA was very excited. They were ready to get out there and support Donald Trump. Except this rally just went really, really badly. Like this one in particular, among the recent rallies that Trump has done, just was horrible. I would describe it as bizarre. There were a lot of weird moments that you just don't really see. Like Donald Trump was screaming at his staff from the stage. He was complaining about the microphone and the teleprompter. He was sweating profusely. It's 110 degrees in Las Vegas right now. Just very, very strange. And you'll see what I mean after I show you some clips. So I have 3 clips from the rally to show you. We'll talk about them all. But the first one I want to show you is him complaining about the teleprompter and the microphone. So take a look at that one here.
Tell him to make the microphone louder. It's terrible. Yeah. He just came up. Are the teleprompters not working, sir? Not even a little bit. Great job. And then I don't pay the company that does it, right? And then I end up with a story Trump doesn't pay. I don't pay contractors that do a shitty job. And that's a shitty job. That's a shitty job. You can't read a word. But you know what? It usually ends up that the speech is better. It's crazy. Then they'll say, oh, isn't it terrible? Trump takes advantage of his No, I take great. When I have a good contractor or a subcontractor, nobody gets paid faster. But when I have contractors that do this kind of work, you can have them.
Yeah, so just a very weird interaction, you might describe it as, from Donald Trump at this rally. He starts off by screaming at his staff saying, tell them to make the microphone louder. And he's doing it pretty rudely. He's not saying, hey, could you get them to boost the sound in the microphone? Would you do that for me, please? He's saying, he's screaming at his staff. And then he goes back to the podium and just starts lying, saying, I pay my contractors when they're good, but these people have done a terrible job. This is a terrible job from them. You can't even read the teleprompter. So first and foremost, it's really kind of terrible how Donald Trump is tearing down the working man. Like, these are people who, they're not political entities. They go and set up events and stages, and they did this for Donald Trump as well, and they expect to be paid. They provided a service for Trump, and they expect to be paid, and now he's saying that he's not going to pay them. I mean, these are working folks. They have a family at home. They're trying to put food on their table just like anybody else, and Donald Trump is slamming them in front of his cult-like following and saying that they're not going to be paid. Pretty terrible conduct from Donald Trump toward these hardworking people. But aside from that already really awful thing for him to say, he also lied about paying his contractors. He's like, I pay everybody. When they do a good job, I pay everybody. Wrong. This has been a long-known fact that Donald Trump doesn't pay his bills. If he has a rally, he doesn't pay him. If he has a lawyer, he doesn't pay him. And this stretches back all the way into like the 1980s or 1990s, early 2000s with Donald Trump. And we have some reporting here from USA Today on this, because this is an important point. At least 60 lawsuits, this is an article from 2016, at least 60 articles along with hundreds of liens, judgments, and other government filings reviewed by the USA Today network document people who have accused Trump and his businesses of failing to pay them for their work. Among them, a dishwasher in Florida, a glass company in New Jersey, a carpet company, a plumber, painters, 48 waiters, dozens of bartenders, and other hourly workers at his resorts and clubs, coast to coast. I mean, the list goes on of the people who Donald Trump hasn't paid. And as I mentioned, like, he'll have these political rallies, he'll go to these towns and not pay for them. So spare me the garbage, spare me the lie of I pay my contractors. He doesn't. He never has, never will. But just really weird kind of clip. And, tearing down these workers who set it up for him is just also very strange. And the second clip I want to show you is Donald Trump being honest for once, and you'll see what I mean in just a second. So take a look at the clip.
By the way, isn't that breeze nice? Do you feel the breeze? Because I don't want anybody going on me. We need every voter. I don't care about you. I just want your vote. I don't care. See, now the press will take that, and they'll say he said a horrible thing.
Yep, he said that. Yeah, he did. He said, I don't care about you. I just want your vote. I don't care about you. And everybody who, knows who Donald Trump is like, yeah, we know this. You obviously do not care about the people. Your policy doesn't reflect that at all. Your actions don't reflect that at all. But he's finally being honest about it, I guess, saying, yeah, I don't care about you. I just want your vote. So for anybody who's kind of on the fence out there, look at this. He's saying that he does not care about you. He is not thinking about you when he's running for president. We all know why Trump is running for president. He's kind of touching on it there, but he's running to keep himself out of prison. Day one, he's going to pardon himself for the federal cases against him to make sure that he does not face any accountability. That's why Donald Trump is running for president, and he's finally at least starting to be honest about that fact alone. But when I first saw this clip, my immediate thought was that this is the perfect embodiment of the MAGA cult. He's looking at these people in their face and saying, I do not care about you. I don't. I want your vote. That's what Donald Trump just said to these people, looking them in the face. And they clap. They clap. He is insulting them to their face, calling them like mindless supporters of him, saying, yeah, I do not care about you. I just want your vote, and you're going to do it anyway. And they go, genius, brilliant. This is spectacular. What? It is the MAGA cult. He is insulting them to their face, and they're just like clapping along. They love it. They eat it up. They say Donald Trump is great. Like, I don't know how you get through to these people when they're being told by the person they worship that he's just using them to achieve his goals and not to actually make the country better. But this is the MAGA cult, ladies and gentlemen. They get insulted by Trump. They love it. He doesn't do anything for them. They love it. He's convicted of felonies. They love it. All this stuff. Trump cult right there. So that's what I mean when I say it's all like very weird. Just really weird moments that makes your average person looking at this like, what? What are they talking about? But anyway, the last clip I want to show you is nonsense, to put it nicely. I mean, Trump just for a minute straight went on this completely incoherent rambling about nothing. And please do your best in the comments below or just in your head. Try to make sense of this because I couldn't. Take a look at the clip.
And it must be because of MIT, my relationship to MIT. Very smart. He goes, I say, what would happen if the boat sank from its weight and you're in the boat and you have this tremendously powerful battery and the battery's now underwater and there's a shark that's approximately 10 yards over there. By the way, a lot of shark attacks lately. Do you notice that? A lot of shark. I watched some guys justifying it today. Well, they weren't really that angry. They bit off the young lady's leg because of the fact that they were not hungry, but they misunderstood who she was. These people are crazy. He said there's no problem with sharks. They just didn't really understand a young woman swimming now really got decimated, and other people too. A lot of shark attacks. So I said, so there's a shark 10 yards away from the boat, 10 yards, or here. Do I get electrocuted? If the boat is sinking, water goes over the battery, the boat is sinking. Do I stay on top of the boat and get electrocuted? Or do I jump over by the shark and not get electrocuted? Because I will tell you, he didn't know the answer. He said, nobody's ever asked me that question. I said, I think it's a good question. I think there's a lot of electric current coming through that water. But you know what I'd do if there was a shark or you get electrocuted? I'll take electrocution every single time. I'm not getting near the shark.
Yeah, so does anybody have any idea what convicted felon Donald Trump is talking about right there? For a minute straight, he talked about boats, water, boats sinking, batteries, and sharks. For a minute straight. If Joe Biden did that, Fox News would be running a headline for a week playing this clip saying that Joe Biden's mind is gone. But when Trump does it, they say it's perfectly fine. He's speaking genius. What is he talking about? This is a political rally, and he's talking about whether he wants to be on a sinking boat or near a shark. I have no idea what this guy is rambling about there, but I think this shows you the perfect contrast between Joe Biden and Donald Trump, aside from the insanity of it, right? Just look at the contrast. You have Donald Trump at his rallies doing all of this, rambling about sharks and boats sinking, whatever that is, and shark attacks, I guess. You have all of that. Not talking about policy, not talking about how he's going to make people's lives better, none of that. And then on the other side, you have Joe Biden, who's speaking about reproductive care, lowering healthcare costs, protecting the environment, expanding healthcare for our veterans, and making sure our troops are protected abroad, investing in infrastructure, all this stuff. You have Joe Biden talking about that at his rallies. Trump is talking about sharks in water. So I'm still baffled every day when I just see the race, and I have no idea how people are supporting Trump and that nonsense over Joe Biden, who's trying to achieve legitimate policy goals for the United States. Insanity. So I just had to talk to you about this rally and how, as I mentioned, bizarre it was. I just think it was really weird. And I certainly don't think this convinced anybody to be like, yeah, I'm going to vote for Trump now. I think it probably pushed people further away from Donald Trump, as it should, because this is just craziness. But I'll leave the video there. So thank you so much for watching. I appreciate you being here. Make sure to subscribe down below. It really goes such a long way. Also, drop a like on the video. And as I mentioned earlier, please comment and let me know what you think about all of this. I'm excited to hear what you guys have to say. But look, as I always say, I appreciate you, and I hope you have an amazing rest of your day.